Hello. So in today's class, at first we will see about arrays. So in the data structures means what is mean data structures? So it is all about collection of datas. Okay. So how can we efficiently see the data? How can we efficiently store the data? That is what about data structures. And then, for example, if we take an example, how can we store the data very much in efficient way? How can we access the data in efficient way? Suppose if I can access the data in a small amount of time, that's very much efficient one. So then the researches keep on going on. We are coming with different concepts. How can we evolve? So for data structures, the basic is linear and non-linear data structures. So what is mean linear data structures? It will store the data in sequential way, next to next, next to next. Always is a contingent. And then when you go for a nonlinear data structures, it's all about and at different locations you can store the data, we can access the data. So for linear data structures, the best example is your playlist, your music playlist. The songs will go one by one, or you can shuffle it up, or whatever may be, but it will go by one by one. The songs are stored in by one memory positions. Whereas for nonlinear data structures, the best example is your Google Maps. We have different places are there. How can we link up those places? That is what about your nonlinear data structures. In linear data structures, we have different types of linear data structures are there. Arrays, correspondingly, your stacks, queues, all those things. So now in today's class, we will see about arrays. So in arrays we will have an index. So the index will be nothing but your position of your data. Okay, you're giving some portion to the data, so that's a watch which portion it is. Okay, for example, every student have a register number. So your register number is the corresponding identity for you in this college. So likewise, a data store at which address? Okay, the data stores at which address? So for a student, the address is your registration number. For a citizen, your address is your Aadhaar card number maybe, or something driving license number, PAN card number. So for everybody have an address. So likewise, a data also have an address. So then, the address can be how much memory space. Okay, it depends on it varies. So now here the 4 bytes it occupies 4 bytes. Okay, so the index. So each address portion, each memory location occupies 4 bytes. Okay, so the index and then and data. So here, how call we in the index? Arrays is nothing but in a single variable. How can we store the multiple data? It's arrays is all about a single variable. We will store the multiple data. So for example, a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, and a of 3. So now here I can store a data over here. This is a normal arrays. So in arrays, we have different types of arrays are there. One-dimensional and two-dimensional, multi-dimensional. So the one-dimensional means what? We have a normal and index and data. A two-dimensional means what? We have both I and j, a of I and j. Where here the i's will be rows and j will be columns. Okay, in multidimensional, we will go for a large amount of uh, more than one. We always will call as a multidimensional or two-dimensional arrays. Okay, so at first we will see about and one-dimensional arrays. In one-dimensional arrays, the first one is going to be there are many operations we can perform on arrays. The first operation we are going to see in today's class is traversal. Okay, so what is meant by traversal? Visiting all the data in the array. That is called traversal. Okay, so now here when I do the operation of traversal, what will be the output over here? So I should visit all the data over in the arrays. So the data will be 4, and then 6, and then 3, and then 2. This should be the output for traversal. So for this, we should write a code. Okay. So now what we'll do means, at first, what we can do before traversal, at first we should create an array, and then we should store a data in an array, and then we will perform the traversal operation. Okay. So for that, what we'll do, so always here the array is going to store the data of an integers. Okay, so accordingly we can give that data type. Okay, so integer a of something I want data, something I want 35 data can be stored in an array, and then I need an and one more variable called size. Okay, because as a, if I, for example, as a user, I need to tell to the programmer that I am going to store this much of data. I need this much of data. For example, a class in charge is there. So I have 60 number of students are there. So I need 60 number of memory locations are required. So the size will be given for every classes. Okay, likewise for every street, this much houses are available. So then for this much houses, I need this much of memory locations are there. So size. So as a user, you will get the size from the user. As a programmer, will get the size from the user. So I need one more variable called and size, and then one more variable called I for a looping purpose. For a looping purpose. Is it clear? At first, we have an 35 number of data can be stored in an array, and then size, and then I. So at first what we will do, we will ask the user to enter the size. Enter the size of an array, and then we will scan the corresponding size. Okay. So now once we got the size, for example, the size is over here. I have given the size value as a 4. Size value as a 4. Then I will ask the user to enter the elements. Enter the elements or enter the data in the array. So and then I need to scan the data. But here it's not a single data, it's a multiple data. So since it is a multiple data, I can't do directly scan. Okay, I will use some loops. Okay, so now here we will use an for loop because I need to enter, because some user might enter only one data, some user might enter some n number of data. So here the maximum size of an array is 35. So here the maximum in this program, in this array, they can store maximum of 35 number of data. So now here what I'm going to do it over here, initial condition I is 0, and then I will check for whether this I is less than the size or not, because we have got the 4 as a size from the user. So I can store maximum of 4 data over there. Shall we keep on checking for the sizes, and then I'll be keep on and incrementing. So then here I will scan the data one by one. So now what happens over here in A of 0, it will store the first data, and then A of 1, it will store the second data, and A of 2, it will store the third data, and then A of 3 to store the fourth data. So I is less than size. So we are going 4. So once array is 4 becomes less than 4, it will not be, the for loop gets exit. So now here it will comes out. So now we have created an array. We have created an array by using this program. So now we are doing operation called an traversal. So for an operation called traversal, we should we should visit all the arrays, all the memory location, and then we should store the we should show the output in the show the data in the output side. So this output should be shown over in the output side. So for that, what we will do once again, while we'll do the printf statement, the data is in an array are once again here also we will use an for loop. Okay, but in the previous creation of an for loop, we have used a scan statement. In the traversal operation, we will use a printf statement in the for loop. Okay, so now once again, the same for loop we will use it. So now here we will use an printf statement. So it will print the value from a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3, and then the output will be shown like this, a4632. So this will be the output after an and printf statement. Okay, so here we have performed an corresponding creation of an array, and then we have stored data over there, and then here we have performed an traversal operation in an array. Okay.